Hi, so today I'm back in the brew house and going to do something that's the first for me, and that is I've got a beer on keg which I've dry hopped in the keg, and today's operation is basically to transfer the beer from the kegged dry hop keg to a serving keg. And what I've made is I've made a beer transfer with the two beer out. So I'll be transferring from beer out on the keg that's got dry hop in it and over through to the other keg, but also using the racking tube that's in there to avoid any bubbles or foam or stuff that create trouble for me further on. So what I'm going to do now is untwine that so it's nice and straight, and that goes to beer out on keg number 1 and to beer out on the serving keg. Now to release, to ensure that that just doesn't stop, I've actually, and we'll see if I can show you that's got a hose that goes all the way down, and it's got a valve on the end so that I can control how much CO2 is being pushed out, and that's also another way to control the flow rate when we get started. On the other end we're going to connect that to gas, and I can already see beer floating through, and this is our fruity crazy fruit beer, so you can see that's coming through there. And I'm also trying some new microphones and stuff, so hopefully this video is going to be really good. So now it's just time for me to pop on some gas, which is going to be fantastic. I'm going to roll the gas pressure down quite considerably because I don't want this to spurt. I just want it to evenly start flowing through, and it had a bit of movement there, and we'll just ramp the gas up nice and slow, and once that's started I can release that so that I've got an even flow out. And so far this is looking amazing. I mean, this beer has been a crazy project from day one. Ooh. As soon as I open up this fruit beer, which has a lot of raspberry and blueberry, I seem to get loads of wasps want to come in and have a sample of that. So I think that's really just a sample of quality. Let's see if that's... It's got a slight leak in the seal, so we'll look to that as soon as that's done. But you can see on the colour of this, it doesn't look like beer at all. It's 23 litre batch, and it had about 6 kilos of fruit, which is absolutely off the charts. And this is pretty much flowing perfectly. As soon as this has moved over, I'm still debating with myself if I just want to leave it for a while or if I'm going to go and force carbonate it straight away. I think this needs quite a lot of carbonation, to be honest, so 2.6 maybe volumes of CO2. Yep, and that's all pushing out nicely. There's no spurting, it's nice and even, and to be quite honest, I'm well pleased with how that started off. Going to be interesting to see how long it takes. I could have put a filter on there, but this is a milkshake, as you will. So a lot of effort has been put into trying to get this murky, so I hope it doesn't clear. And the initial taste of the sample was quite interesting because it was somewhere between a sour and an IPA. And it's going to be really, really interesting to see how that mellows out. So the question is how long I can keep my fingers off it. Knowing myself well enough, it's not going to be that long. I'm really, really, really looking forward to trying this. The inspiration came from a beer made by Omnipollo, Swedish brewery. Really out there in terms of what they do. I love a lot of their beers, had a few. Been really pleased with all of them. Enjoyed them all, needless to say. And yeah, as I said, I'm really looking forward to this. It's also the first time I've tried cryo hops, which is a concentrated pellet where a lot of the greenage has been taken out, and picked up some tips here and there from people who've been dry hopping in keg, and saying that, hey, that's given some really cool aromas. I'll bring you back for me instead of just watching odd beers flow. We can adjust that down a little bit. And as I said, I'm really, really stoked about this one. It's one of those either or. Either it's really, really amazing, or it's going to be something that you're considering dumping down the drain. And as beer brewers, we don't like that too much, so we try to avoid dumping stuff in the drain. Hopefully, when this all settles down, I'll leave it for a bit. Then I am planning to draw out a sample. One of my new toys arrived yesterday, which is a dissolved oxygen meter, so that will give me an idea of my process, if that was good. And I'm very much looking forward to either tomorrow or Thursday, when I do the best bitter, to actually see how the oxygen levels evolve through the brewing process. So I can see, okay, how much aeration am I getting on the hot side? How much am I getting on the cold side? How much oxygen do I actually have in my wort when I'm pitching my yeast? Because most people agree that the O2 concentration levels are pretty critical in terms of yeast viability and yeast health. So very much looking forward to see how they turn out. But so far so good. I haven't spilt a drop yet. That I'm pretty sure that's bound to change. Pretty sure about that. But overall, I think this is progressing really good. And yeah, I'll come back when the grand finale is in place. So, beer transferred, job done, more or less. It's fully in a tight keg. It's a full keg. I didn't have a lot of loss at all. There's a bit of headspace, which is fine, and the transfer hose worked perfectly. Look at that colour. That is going to be absolutely stellar. The aroma coming out of this, it's got 3 kilos of blueberry, 3 kilos of raspberry, 100 grams of Citra cryo hops, 50 grams of mosaic cryo hops, and the aroma on this is absolutely phenomenal. It is absolutely amazing. I just want to open this and get going. Sod everything, get into it. Bit of restraint, not going to go there, going to let it mellow out a bit. I think this is going to be absolutely epic. Got this good feeling about it. It's why we do this stuff. A, to get beer. B, at least for me, is wow, that was amazing. What can I do differently the next time and make it even better? or even close to where I want it to go. So already got ideas spinning on that. But I'm about to try something else that's new, and that is with cryo hops and dry hopping in this way. You're taking out a lot of aromas and the stuff that you want, but the iso acids are remaining in that hops, and you can reuse those. Now I thought I'd reuse those, then I kind of came up with, oh yeah, this has been floating around in something closer to fruit than beer, so there's going to be a lot of carryover of flavour. But I did want to show you what I use for the dry hopping in the kegs, and it's a cylinder like this. Now I put it on the end of a string so that I could easily fish it out, and now I've kind of realised, well, I'm purging the entire keg of beer, so I mean I don't have to worry about that baby until I'm going to clean the keg anyway. So next time round I won't be bothering with the string, and just really chucking it in there. Wow! Ooh, I just had a smell of the remains of the hop cake. It's really plugged it in. So this was 150 grams of cryo. You know what, sod it, I'm going to try and look after this anyway, and que sera sera. Cryo hops is quite expensive, so if I can use it for that, then that's really good. And that came out in one big chunk into me bag. It's not an awful lot of coloration, so hopes are that will actually work. There's not enough to get me worried. I mean, I'm still researching into how much of this do you actually use. Now I'm going to just gently press out the air out of that. It's a dual lock bag, so I'll mark that, and that's what it looks like when you're done. Hop sludge. And obviously the container has done a pretty good job of looking after that. But as a bitterness addition, I mean, you're boiling away a lot of the flavours and stuff anyway. So my hopes are that that will really prove to be amazing. I just want to have a go at that. You can't imagine the smell. There's this absolutely massive smell of hops, and I do like the Citra hop. So now this is really amazing stuff. Mark that with what it is. So it's 100 of Citra, 50 of Mosaic, roughly about 22% alpha acid. So it's going to be quite interesting to see if we can plug this into Brewfather and have it come up with something sensible. But I do feel an IPA is due in not so distant future. The next one out is that I've got planned is a best bitters. So I've got me East Kent Goldings here, and I've got some Faggles. So those are going to be, and the thing that I'm going to do differently there to what I've normally done is there's going to be no flavour or aroma hops at all. So leaning quite heavily on the malt base there. That'll be the next video. I'm going to be really interested to see how this sounds when it's all done. I'm trying my new mic, which is a memory mic from Sennheiser. Really smooth to use. You just pop it on there, use the memory mic app, and as you can hopefully have seen and heard, I can move around pretty freely. I'm doing this on my iPhone. It's got a little tripod so I can stand it, and it's allowing me to do hands-free operations. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back again. Do subscribe if you like what we're doing, and happy brewing.